to today's home safari at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. My name is Colleen. I'm one of the keepers and trainers for the Cincinnati Zoo and specifically the Cat Ambassador Program. And we have today Kris and Remus, our dynamic duo. Now they're just going to be playing in our yard, basically enjoying this beautiful day. We finally have a little break in the rain, which we've been seeing for days here in Cincinnati, which has made our grass grow like crazy. And it's also meant that a lot of our animals have, just like us, been spending a lot of their playtime indoors. So getting able to be out here today and run around is going to be really fun for them. We have a few of their favorite toys. We have a soccer ball, and then we have this lunge whip that they like to chase around. So we're gonna have them doing a little bit of that. I'm actually gonna hand that off to Alicia so she can see if Kris wants to play with that ball on a string. Think of it like a giant cat toy. You guys have seen those cat wands that your cats at home chase? Well, this is cheetah size. And as it rolls around and moves in the grass, it mimics prey that they would chase out in the wild. So it's a really great way to get them physically stimulated, get them up and moving and exercising, and it's a good way to get them mentally stimulated, using their brain, keeping them from getting bored. And you can see Kris, especially if you followed her journey from being a youngster, you can see she's really starting to be a much better hunter. She is starting to have a little bit more coordination. She's starting to really work on her technique when she chases and runs. And she's also, of course, getting a whole lot faster. That's something that even though we don't have zoo visitors with us on grounds right now, we are still making sure that we're exercising our cheetahs all the time, meaning that they're still getting opportunities to have big runs in this yard and also just free time in new space. So at least twice a week we run each cheetah after our lure system so that they can maintain all of those muscles and get that really, really good physical stimulation and mental stimulation. That's what these animals would be doing out in the wild. Maybe not running every day, but running a few times a week. So we want to be making sure that we give them a really dynamic and authentic experience here at the zoo. But we see that we have questions rolling in, so we're really excited about that. Let's hear some of the questions.
The 4th and 5th grade class at Mountain Academy in Jackson, Wyoming wants to know if you've seen Kris run and what is it like?
Mountain Academy, you're asking about Kris running. Have we seen her run? She is part of our lure system runs. Unfortunately, the zoo closed to the public before we were able to show that off to any zoo visitors in person. However, there are some videos on our YouTube channel if you're curious about seeing Kris running. It's really cute to watch. Some of those first runs are a little awkward. You know, she's just getting her footing, and she is definitely started to progress and learn and grow with that. And you'll see her in this Facebook Live do a few runs, short distances, just running after the ball and the lure system and her dog, but you'll really be able to see that too. What's another one?
Kane wants to know how is the job as a zookeeper?
Oh, that's a good question. So Payne wants to know, how is the job as a zookeeper? It's the absolute best job in the world if you love animals. It is something that all of us here at the zoo that are lucky enough to be called zookeepers, we work really hard to get where we are. A lot of staying good in science and school, a lot of internships, and it's not an easy job by any means. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of dedication and devotion, but it's the best job in the world. Most of my job is cleaning and caring for these animals and also educating the public about these guys and why we need to work to conserve and protect them in their natural ranges.
Eleanor wants to know what breed is
Eleanor wants to know, what breed is Remus? Oh, well, he's a mixed breed. He's a little bit of everything. We actually had one of those really fun DNA tests that said that he was part shepherd, part shih tzu, part Yorkie, part wild dog. He's just a 100% good boy. We got the question from Weston as to, can cheetahs jump? Well, they can jump, but I'm going to tell you that they're not going to be very good at it. They can really only jump about 4 feet onto something. So they're not going to really jump straight across or straight up. But if they see a down tree out in the wild, they might be able to get a better vantage point by jumping up on that. Cheetahs are what we call specialists. So they're really good at one thing. She's showing that off right now. Woo! They're really good at running. So everything that they have on their body and the ability to do, we call those adaptations. All those adaptations are going to be very specific for running. So they're not good climbers, they're not good jumpers, not good swimmers. They're not really even the smartest thinkers, and the reason is they don't have to be. They only have to be fast in order to survive. What makes them fast is a question we got from Luke, which is a really good question. I just said that they have a ton of adaptations that help them to be quick. So let's run down a few of those right now, especially while Kris is right here and you can see her up close. First of all, her body build is going to help her to be a fast animal. She's, you can see, very lean and tall, long legs and small head. All of that helps her to be really aerodynamic, which means she can almost cut through the air without a lot of resistance. If you think of how a lion is built, they're really bulky and a lot more power. They have big, strong jaws and bulky heads to help them catch big prey. But all that would do is weigh an animal down. So having this body frame helps her to be very quick. Another thing that helps them to be fast is their feet. We all know that if we were about to go on a run or play sports, we wouldn't grab our flip-flops or our dress shoes or snowshoes. We would grab our tennis shoes or our cleats. And so the reason for that is that those shoes have a lot of good traction, prongs on the bottom of them, like on a cleat shoe. And that's how a cheetah's foot is built. Their nails stick out a little all the time that help them to, you might even be able to come in real close and see she has her nails where you can see them sticking out. That helps her to grip into the ground just like cleats are going to help you when you run, and that helps them to be really fast as well. Ooh, another good question we have from Aubrey, who wants to know, what are those black lines on her face? They're called malar stripes, and what they're going to do is help reduce the glare from the sun. So cheetahs, in order to make sure that they're not hunting at the same times as the big scary guys in Africa, things like lions, leopards, hyenas, which are all nocturnal, they don't want that type of competition. So they're going to be daytime predators. We call that diurnal. And in being a diurnal hunter, especially in the African sun, you would think that they wouldn't want to squint a lot. So just like eye black on a baseball player or a football player, cheetah's black lines or malar stripes are going to help reduce the glare from the sun so that they can run and hunt without having to squint, so they can see really, really well. Sophia wants to know how long Kris and Remus will be friends. Well, that's really up to them, and there's not a timeline. We honestly don't know. We think that they'll probably be friends, but sometimes they're more like siblings, and we know from growing up with siblings or maybe having some friends that have some. Siblings are great, but at some point you want your own space. You want your own room. You want your own toys. You don't want to necessarily play with them all the time anymore. And so that's sort of what we see with Kris and Remus. We've had a few cheetah dog pairs that have stayed together about 2 years. We've had a few that have stayed together 9 years. So it's really just depends.
Lynn wants to know if they purr.
All right, we got a really good question from Lynn, who wants to know if cheetahs purr. So we do know that cats can either purr or roar. The big guys, lions, tigers, and things like that are definitely gonna be the roarers, and we know the small guys, like house cats, are the purrers. So if you think about a cheetah, they sort of seem like a big cat. You might think that they would roar, but they actually purr. Cheetahs and cougars are the largest of the purring cats. Anything bigger is going to roar. But cheetahs make a few really odd noises. Not only do they purr, they also chirp. Sounds very much like a bird. And they do that when they're calling for siblings or mom when they're young, or when they're distressed.
Patty wants to know if Remus is fast.
Patty wants to know if Remus is fast. He is quick. He has a ton of energy, but he might look slow when he's running here on video, only because the only other animal running next to him is a cheetah, the fastest animal on land. So it's kind of not fair.
Josh wanted to know how fast cheetahs run.
Cheetahs can run up to 70 miles per hour, which was a question we got from Josh. And if you think about 70 miles per hour, that's pretty fantastic. Your car on the highway, the speed limit is 65. So next time you're driving on the highway, take a look out the window real quick. Notice how fast everything is passing you. And then imagine running that. Pretty amazing.
Cassidy wants to know, what does Kris eat?
We got a question from Cassidy about what Kris eats. Kris eats meat. So cheetahs and all cats are obligate carnivores. And something that we get here at the zoo is a ground beef blend. It has all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that exotic cats like the cheetah, like Kris here, need. She also gets a few different types of treats like steak cubes, and sometimes whole prey like whole but not live rabbits. And if anybody out there is curious about what Remus eats, he eats dog food. Nothing as exciting. We got a question from Mia about what Kris likes to do. You're looking at one of Kris's favorite things to do. Be out in this yard and play with her dog Remus. Kind of just walk around and explore. Get out some energy. Smell and see new things. And it's really funny because cheetahs can sometimes be a little bit hard to enrich. And what I mean by enrichment is the things that they experience or play with in their environment. Things like new toys can be really scary for cheetahs. They're kind of big scaredy cats. But one of the things that cheetahs love to do is, when it's raining, they like to sit in their bed. We bring out a big TV and put on a nature show. And they love to sit there and watch TV. Looks like Alicia's trying to get Kris to play some soccer with her. Let's see if Alicia has any luck with that. It's a little warm out here. And although cheetahs are fantastic runners, they are not known for their endurance. They really only run for about a minute out in the wild at those top speeds. Today is probably one of the warmer days we've had in a while here in Cincinnati. So, looks like she's a little tired. We got a question, excuse me, from Katie as to if the cheetah is soft. You can see, you can kind of come in closer and see her fur. It looks really plush, but it's actually very wiry. Think of kind of like a Brillo pad. It's really kinky hair, and so it feels a little bit more dry and coarse than nice and soft and plush. Debbie wants to know what their best sense is. Oh my goodness, Remus, you're being really cute. Well, their best sense is going to be their vision. If we think of all of the 5 senses, vision is going to by far be what the cheetah is best at. And I always like to say you can tell an animal's best adaptation by being probably the largest part on them. Animals with big ears are going to have really good hearing. Animals with big eyes, they are really good at seeing. Cheetahs can see for up to 3 miles, and you can get a close-in look at her big amber-colored eyeballs. That's going to help them to see while they're hunting in the African savanna. Again, being a daytime predator, they get a lot of good sunlight to be able to see long distances instead of having to see accuracy at night. They can use those big eyes that are going to help them to hunt during the day. And that was our last question, because honestly, I think we wore out our cheetah. I think she's just gonna sit here in the shade and cool down after a nice few good runs around with her dog. So I want to take this opportunity before we sign off to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to the home safari. We really enjoy being able to connect with people all over the world that support what we do, support our animals, and support our zoo. We wouldn't be able to have the support without people like all of you guys tuning in and enjoying what we do and learning from what we do. It means a lot to us here at the Cincinnati Zoo, and we hope that you guys continue to stay safe and sanitized wherever you are.